Well, a couple of other things Guardiola said in the press conference. We will come back strong. It will happen next Wednesday in front of our fans. They're at home to Nottingham Forest. That's a big, bold shout that they're definitely going to do it in front of their fans on Wednesday night. Wow, that's confidence for you. There's no real reason to suggest
have any problem with that comment 4 weeks ago.
No, but 7 without a win. Yeah. I like the fact he's bullish about it, but
I actually thought that would be the game plan today. If I was him, I would have come out really bullish tonight. Because there was nothing really in that game to hang on to. You got to sort of go, the next game we're going to show you. And that's probably a good message to have in the changing room as well.
He said, I want the team back. I want my players back. We will make a reset from here. From here, we will start to build something. Call me delusional, but from here, we will start to build games, was what he said. So he's bullish. He's coming out and saying that we will be back. He's certainly not giving up. By the way, on a little bit of injury news, Arne Slot has said tonight that Conor Bradley and Konate will be out for a few weeks, is the quote, a few weeks.
It's a bit of a blow. And as I say, kind of the Christmas programme, you don't want to start losing players.
All right.
I told you.
Sean's a Liverpool fan who was at the game. How you feeling, Sean?
Hey guys, great show as always.
Thank you.
Absolutely ecstatic at the moment. We're sailing high at the top of the league. I just wanted to call in about Pep, actually. Pardew, you said earlier that you don't think you need to defend Pep, but, I mean, the guy's lost 4 in a row, 6 out of the last 7. He's been managing on easy mode. He's now got 1 injury to 1 key player, and he just can't seem to solve any problems. His team look absolutely rudderless, and they're getting played off the pitch by everyone they play at the moment, and he doesn't seem to have any answers. And I don't think the sacked in the morning show was in any way ironic.
No, well, okay, that's a fair point, but I think I'm just going on his CV and what he's done in his career, and I'll talk about his playing career as well. By the way, you're talking about somebody who's only been used to winning trophies. This is such an unusual thing for him to go through, even as a player, let alone a manager. So it's territory I don't think he's familiar with. Maybe he's not handling that correctly, and that is definitely a criticism we could throw at him. But I do believe that in terms of his qualities, what I've seen of him, what I've heard of him with players, I don't think he needs defending. But you guys today, without a shadow of a doubt, have a team that will put any manager to shame. You really are at the top of your game. And as I said earlier, that the Real Madrid... was you at the Real Madrid game, by the way?
I was, yeah. Another fantastic performance.
Yeah, I actually thought that was as good a performance as I've seen. I thought it was absolutely outstanding.
Well, you said it was a statement, and it absolutely was a statement. It said to the whole of Europe, and by the way, they're the only 100% side left in the Champions League, Liverpool, said to the whole of Europe, we mean business. Yeah. It's not a blip.
You said earlier that when the team sheet came out, you were looking at that midfield and said it was just not up to scratch. If you can see that, why can't Pep?
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying to you, because, maybe this territory is new to him, that, and I'm talking about a losing run like he's on, that he's kind of thinking things that through a little bit that he wouldn't normally have done. He would have a more rhythmic thing to his selection. I genuinely thought when I looked at that team that it looked weak compared to the strength that you had in that midfield and the running ability. Maybe he thought that were the best options.
Let me ask you another question, Sean, because what you've said there shouldn't go unnoticed. It's an interesting point, Sean. You've said that the sacked in the morning chant was not ironic. So let's work that through. Let's see that through. If Man City sacked Pep Guardiola in the morning, you telling me you wouldn't be surprised?
Well, I'd be gutted because he's going to take them down the table. So as a Liverpool fan, I'm happy if he stays in the post.
So you think if he stays there, they're just going to descend further down the table? That's what's going to happen?
I don't know what's going to happen first. They get relegated following the hearing for the charges, or he relegates them. Because on current form, they are absolutely plummeting down the league.
You are aware what he's done at Man City since 2016 and what he's won, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I mean, as a Liverpool fan, I know all too well. I've been, we've been
on the receiving end of it.
Yeah, exactly. But the one hiccup in the road when Rodgers out, he's got absolutely no answers, and he's trying to wait till he gets to January so he can buy another player.
You see, this is the problem, Sean. I think it's a great point because you're putting your neck on the block. You're really giving it the full beans on Pep Guardiola, and it's genuinely what you believe in. I appreciate that call. I think we both appreciate the call.
No, but
but it's not just Rodri. Diaz is out, and Stones actually is more instrumental than you think. He's the one who implements that.
And Stones plays that role as well, by the way. But the one thing I would say about the whole situation at Man City is it seems to have happened almost like a car crash situation. We hinted it a little bit about the Inter Milan game that we were both at, that maybe they wasn't quite as the levels they were last year. But what's happened at the moment, from the Rodri injuries onwards, it's just been like, wow, it's just like getting, I wouldn't say getting worse, but it's like there doesn't seem to be any green shoots of recovery. And I think that's where Sean is coming from, really. I mean, obviously, he's a bit emotive about it all. But, the bottom line is with Pep, that this is unusual territory for him. And, maybe he's not handling it as well as perhaps other people who have had losing runs many times, like myself, would have handled it.
It's new territory for him. Sean, thanks for the call. By the way, I did mention Diaz. I know he played today. It's his first game since the end of October. He's thrown him straight in because they desperately need something. Let's go to Tom, who's a Man City fan. Hiya, Tom.
Hiya, good evening, guys. You okay?
Hi, Tom. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's going on about our apparent decline. We know we've got the injury issues, the out of form, lacks of confidence, off-field issues. But because we've set that bar so high, or rather Pep and the squad has, we're overlooking the fact, I'm not, but we're overlooking the fact that the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, they've had to keep improving season on season to rest the time from us. So I'm not in the least bit phased. I'm just looking forward to the rebuild. We couldn't maintain that with the squad of players that we've got because Father Time catches up with everyone. But because of Pep and the standards he set on the Premiership the last few years, it's why Liverpool today. I watched them midweek and I thought, I'm dreading this. This could be 5 or 6-0. It really could, and it could realistically be 5 or 6-0. But come the end of the match, he went over. It was humorous, that is banter. We expected that, getting sacked in the morning. We went over at the end with the players, and that's what I liked, because you could see it. It was like, we'll get back. It wasn't like after the midweek game against in the Feyenoord, where they were all asking questions and whispering behind their hands and everything. This was like a team that was then saying, we need to address this, but we'll get back. And listen, I've been watching them from the 60s, so
you've seen some darker days. But there's
everything. So
the couple of things that I think that you said are very, very important. They're your standards. The standards you have set this division, and Liverpool have had to step up the mark to actually go past you today. And as you say, you're going to need a reset in January, and whether that's to move a couple of players on, get a couple of fresh faces in, I think that definitely needs to happen. Have they perhaps missed something in the summer? Maybe you could have seen it coming and preempted it then. That would be my only criticism. But when we get to January, I'm pretty sure Man City have got the financial clout and the room, actually, by going by their summer acquisitions to make some moves in the transfer market, depending all, of course, Adrian, on what this court situation's gonna how it's gonna manifest itself, because obviously they lost that vote in the Premier League about 3 weeks ago that these new rules are in place, and so the old rules sort of have some credibility still. What is going to happen? Very interesting window for Man City.
It is, and in terms of the charges, I think it's just one of those where we have to wait and see what happens. It's been going on so long.
How long have we got to wait, by the way?
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, ridiculous.
But I did a piece before the Feyenoord game about City-itis, which you may have heard of. Joe Royle, a former City manager and player,
a legend,
coined the phrase City-itis. And basically, City-itis is... It affects...
Like Spursy.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's what can go wrong will go wrong, and it will go wrong really badly at Manchester City. Like, you remember the time when the players on the pitch, last game of the season, were drawing 2-2 with Liverpool, and they thought a draw would keep them up. And they eventually, Niall Quinn, who'd been taken off, went running down the touchline, and Steve Lomas was keeping the ball in the corner, playing out time for a draw, and told him, no, we've got to win the game. So then they tried to surge forward and score a winner, didn't. They went down. Then they ended up in the third tier, if you remember.
I do.
In the late 90s. And here's the thing, 26
Kevin
years
Keegan.
ago. Kevin Keegan came in and took them back up
Yep.
to the top, yeah. But 26 years ago, around this time, they were losing in the third tier away to Wycombe, away to York City. And the caller we've just had is a City fan who remembers clearly those times. I always explain that Cityitis is the reason and the history of Man City always being in the shadow of United up until recently. That is why City fans are the way they are. You know, they sometimes get accused of being quiet and not getting excited about things. It's because
there's a realism to them.
Exactly, and they've got this feeling, look, it's all going well under Guardiola. We've won all these titles, but it's going to go wrong. And it's City and it will go wrong really badly. That's how City fans are. So you've got to understand the culture of a club and the history of a club to put it fully into context. And I do know City fans who, if they are, because of the charges, demoted to the National League, some of them are actually saying to me, we'd actually love that. It would be a golden time. What good fun it would be to go off to Chorley Borough.
Are you sure?
To go off to Altrincham.
I don't think the majority, by the way.
I'm not saying the majority, but I think some would just be philosophical about it. I don't think they want it, but it may be imposed on them, and then they'll have to deal with it.
Well, I just think the window in January is going to give us a major clue, really, of where this club is with it. You know, how confident they're feeling. Because if they're confident that they're going to get past the charges, or the charges are going to be minimal, then I think they're going to go big in January. And I think if they don't, if it's a very quiet window for them, particularly in the form they're in, then I would think, okay, maybe they're not as confident as their lawyers are sounding.
Personally, I can't see them being demoted. Would the Premier League really want to devalue its own winners that much?
You know, you're talking about a lot of issues here that are just too complicated for us to actually even try and delve into, because you've got all the other Premier League owners, of course, who will have a say in terms of what that punishment should be. And some of them, as you can imagine, are pressing for it to be very, very strong. And others thinking commercially that's probably a mistake. So, you know, it's a catch-22 for a lot of the owners and the holders of the rights to the Premier League, this Man City situation.
Sad thing about that is it feels like none of them are doing it for the good of football. They're just looking after their own club, which is the way it is and possibly the way it should be.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.